Hi guys, it's Beth here again. Welcome back to another art activity. Today we're going to have a little go at painting this rather lovely blue whale. I'm going to use watercolour paints. You just use whatever you have. So if you've got watercolours, that's great. If you haven't, just normal poster paints, felt tips, crayons, whatever you've got at home. And if you haven't got any of those, you can still do the pencil drawing and we'll just do a bit of shading. Okay, so if you've got everything ready, we will make a start. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to just sketch out the basic outline of our whale. I've got my paper landscape and we want to just start probably about a third of the way down from the top and just over to the left a little bit. Okay, so just little sketchy lines because we might want to rub out at some point and it just makes it so much easier if we've just done light lines first. So I'm going to start off by drawing a little line. We're going to curve it round, so bring it to the left and just slowly start curving it down to probably about halfway. Okay, and then I'm going to bring it in. This is the top part of the whale's mouth. I'm going to curve it back round. We're coming back on ourselves now. And then we're going to do a little line coming down like that. Okay, and bringing it in. Now we're going to continue this line underneath. So put our pencil back underneath. And now we're going to do this, the bottom half of him. So bring this line down quite a way. So it's probably about the same distance again from the top, and we're going to curve it back round now, coming back down like this. Right, I'm going to go back up to the top now and I'm going to continue that line across and then start bringing it down. Nice sort of gentle slope and then curving it round and bring it back up the side. And then when we get to about probably level with the top of his head, we're going to put his tail in. So a nice curve up like this, and then a little wiggly line going across. And then we're going to bring it back round like this. Okay. Now what I'm going to do now, we're going to just bring this line up to meet this line here. So curve it up and up like this. Okay, so I'm going to just take that out, make that a little bit bigger, I think. And if it goes off the edge of the page, don't worry, quite like it. In fact, I'm going to take mine off the edge of the page, so don't force it to fit on the page. There we go. So I'm going to take. Alright, so we've got a basic shape of our whale. I'm going to bring this mouth in just a little bit more, and then I'm going to just do his fin. So his fin about halfway across from the bottom, and we're going to bring a line that just comes down and curve it round. And then I'm going to make it slightly wiggly round to meet him, like that. And then this fin is in front, so we'll rub out that little line there. And then we're going to do the one behind, so it's just to the left, and a little wiggly line for his back fin. Okay. The only other little bit of drawing that we will do at the moment, we'll just pop his little eye in. So just above his mouth, quite close, just a little round circle for his eye. Okay, so have a little look, step back, think it looks okay. If you think it needs tweaking anywhere, then just rub it out and just have another little go. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, that is all the pencil drawing we're going to do. We're going to move on to our paints. So like I say, I am using these watercolours just because it's easier really. With watercolours, you need a wet brush, but not too wet, so I generally just wipe off the main drips, and then you have to work it quite helps a lot. I'm going to start off with a darker blue. You just use whatever you have, or you can make dark blue from mixing a little bit of black with your blue if you've just got one shade of blue. And I'm just going to work a little bit of dark blue just at the edge. We're going to start off with one section. With watercolours, you need them quite wet to be able to blend them. So I'm going to use dark blue to start with. And then I'm going to choose another lighter shade of blue. And I'm going to wash my brush, get this lighter shade of blue, just blend that into that dark blue a little bit. Like this. If you're using poster paints, then what you would do is, to make it lighter, just start adding some little bits of white. Okay. With watercolours, you use your water as your whites. So you would just keep dipping your brush into a bit of water, and the water will make the paint go lighter, like this. Okay. So that's the front bit done. So I'm going to go back to my dark blue now. I'm going to work from the top again. And then slightly lighter shades. Really work that brush. And then we'll go a little bit lighter. Underneath. So we're taking the paint down to roughly halfway down the whale. Follow the curve, so don't do it in a straight line. If you want to, you don't have to start with the dark first. You could just do it all different shades of blue. It doesn't really matter. But I quite like the dark on the very edge. So, slightly different shades. If you've got different shades, it does look nice just to mix them up a little bit. So we're going to work along. I'm working quite quickly. You just take your time. Just relax into it. So I'm going to do another shade of blue. And curve this round up the tail like that. Okay, so I'm following the curve, emphasising the shape of our whale. Okay, right, moving on to the tail. So I'm going to go back to my dark blue. It's gone a bit dry. If your brush starts getting a bit scratchy with your watercolours or your other paints, just add a little bit more water. Now with my brush strokes now, again, I'm following the shape of my tail. I'm emphasising that shape using my brush. I'm going to start off dark, and then as we go to the tip of the tail, what I'm doing is I'm just dragging it with a bit of water. I'm not adding any more paints. If you're using poster paints, you just keep adding a bit of white and make it lighter as you go to the edge. So just a little bit of water on my brush. Now I'm blending that out. So the tip of the whale's tail is nice and light. And then it goes from like a dark to a light, and drag it out just a little bit. Okay. If you're using crayons, if you're using crayons or felt tips, with the crayons you can always press harder to get your dark shades, and then and then press lighter to get it a bit lighter, can't you? Okay. So I'm going to just move to our fins now, and I'm going to again start off with a little bit of dark blue on the edge, and then we're going to get a bit lighter, and then a little bit of water on my brush, and then we'll just make that edge even lighter. Okay, this back fin I'm going to keep quite dark, I think, because it's in the background. So following the line, I'm keeping it quite loose. And there we go, so there's our back fin. Now this section we don't want to leave completely white, so what I'm doing is I'm going to just do a little, like a tint of blue. So I'm just picking up a little bit of the paint on my brush, and I'm using lots of water because it is mainly white, but we just want to add a little tint. I'm just going to blend that edge down a little bit. So maybe add a little bit of paint if it's gone a bit dry. And then lots of water. If you are using poster paints, then you can just do whites with a very small amount of blue, just like a little tint of blue. We'll get that bottom bit really nice and light. Okay, so we're nearly there with our blues. What I quite like to do now, we're just going to add another colour just to make him look a bit pretty, really, just a bit more interesting. So I'm going to now move to purples and pinks and add some little dots and little details in. So I'm going to just, purple and pink, really complementary with blue. It just gives it a little bit of more of an interest. So I'm just working over the top, and I'm adding some little purple dashes. Quite a lot at the edge where it's a little bit darker. So sort of towards the top of our whale, like this. Up his tail, and then I'm doing a few little purple lines like that. Okay, so you can use whatever shades of purple you have. If you don't have a purple, then we could use a pink. So I've got a pink here. So I'm going to add a little bit of pink as well. So it's quite nice. Some little pink spots as well. Just make him look a little bit pretty around here. Again, some little pink squiggles. It just contrasts really nicely with the blue. Makes that blue a bit brighter as well. Little pink dots on his tail. The watercolour's still wet there, so it's bleeding out a little bit, but that's fine, still looks good. Okay, it's very gentle. We blend it in a little bit, layer up those colours just a little bit. Okay, what I might also do is just a tiny bit, I don't know if it's going to work, let's try it. Tiny bit of pink, and then just lots and lots of water just underneath, just to give it a little tint. Use pink or purple, doesn't matter. So the tiniest bit, wash your brush, get that water. You need to do this while it's wet. If it dries, it doesn't work quite as well. So keep washing your brush and just blend it in. So you've got a nice little pink tint over the top. Okay. We haven't done his eye. We're going to keep that really simple. You could even use a felt tip for this. I'm going to just do it in paint, but you could use a pen or a felt tip. I'm just going to do it black. Don't press hard with your brush, and see if you can leave a little white dot in your eye. Okay, then we're nearly there. I am going to outline it. I would suggest that you do this with a felt tip pen or a biro or whatever you have at hand, or even just a pencil, and just press really hard. I'm going to, in fact, I'll do it with a pencil, I think, because my paint's still a bit wet, so you don't want to do it when your paint's wet, otherwise it will bleed everywhere and you'll get big splodgy outlines. So it's much more controlled and easier for you to do it with a pen or a pencil. Or a pencil crayon would be quite nice as well. So I'm just going to outline it a little bit of shading, just bring them out a little bit more. And there we go. Edge. Use a broken line, you don't have to do all of it. And then back round. These little fins. And remember, we go in front of that one. And then outline it, and then just work over that pencil line just a little bit, and his mouth. Let's bring his mouth out a bit more as well. Okay. While I've got my pencil, I'm also going to just work a bit of detail back into his tail, and I'm going to just draw some like little spirals or little circles, just a little bit of nice detailing, a bit of patterning on his tail, just little delicate patterns. And I'm going to do some on his tummy as well, so just some little spirals, some little dots. Quite nice. Okay, you can outline his eye a little bit as well, I would, just a little circle around the outside. Right, so I think we're there with the painting. You know what's coming next? We're going to do some splats. So I am going to do quite dark ones. I'm going to stick with my dark blue. I'm going to get quite a lot of paint on my brush and then dip it into the water. Okay, and then just tap your lovely splats on, like that. If you're using poster paints, what you could do is just get some very watery paints and just water it down, and then you can splat using that. Don't try and splat with the really thick paint because it won't work very well. So I'm going to do a bit of pink as well. So really work that brush into the paint, lots of water, and then a little bit of pink, and that picks up the pink that we've got in our whale as well. So there we have it. I think we've got one finished whale. I think that looks lovely. So just check it over. If you want to add more splats, add more splats. I quite like it like that, but it's up to you. It is quite a splashy picture. And I think we'll leave it there. So that's our whale finished. I hope you enjoyed it. Do send your pictures in because we would absolutely love to see them, and we will see you again soon. Bye for now.